In the 1920s, the British Raj maintained strict physical and social hierarchies across India. British officers and elites occupied the shaded pavilions, while Indian subjects were relegated to the margins. Cricket served as a primary tool for this colonial order. The sport was heavily exported and mandated to instill Victorian values of obedience, gentle conduct, and deference to authority. English commentators routinely stereotyped the Indian athlete of this era. They described local players as small in stature, overly defensive, and entirely lacking the muscular aggression required for top-tier sport. To gain international respect, India needed official test status, a formal recognition from England that allowed a nation to compete as an absolute equal on the world stage. Securing that status required a highly skilled roster, but it also demanded a psychological titan. India desperately needed an imposing figure capable of violently shattering the English stereotype of the docile colonial subject. Enter Kotari Kanakaya Naidu. Standing over 6 feet tall and fiercely disciplined, he completely contradicted the British expectation. Naidu refused to play the gentlemanly, defensive game the British encouraged. He adopted an aggressively upright stance and swung the bat with an unapologetic, transgressive power meant to dominate the bowler. In the 1920s, Test status was an exclusive club. The British Empire entirely controlled the institutional gates, deciding exactly who was civilized enough to play at the highest level. Naidu treated his time at the crease as a highly visible platform. Striking the ball to the boundary was a direct physical assertion of Indian strength against the British Raj. In 1926, Arthur Gilligan brought his elite Marylebone Cricket Club team to India. The English side was packed with seasoned professionals, fully expecting to effortlessly dismantle all local opposition. During a pivotal match at the Bombay Gymkhana, the local Hindu team found themselves struggling heavily against world-class English fast bowlers. Nayudu stepped to the crease, stared down the bowler, and immediately launched a brutal counterattack against the English elite. This chart compares Nayudu's performance in that single match against the career averages of top English batsmen. While an elite English player might hit 2 or 3 sixes, balls hit entirely over the boundary, in a season, Nayudu hit 11 sixes in 116 minutes, amassing 153 runs. As this line shows, he accumulated those runs at a staggering pace, reaching the century mark, 100 runs, in a mere 65 minutes. This terrifying display of power deeply rattled the MCC. Gilligan returned to England and successfully lobbied the authorities to grant India official test status. By 1932, the geopolitical landscape of the sport had shifted. India traveled to England for its very first official test series, recognized formally as equals. Leading up to the tour, Indian cricket was heavily patronized by wealthy princes. Nayudu had to fight past deep-seated classism and royal entitlement to rightfully claim his position as India's first test captain. Once on English soil, Nayudu continued his transgressive batting style. He struck the ball with a staggering, withering force that left English fielders entirely helpless. During a match at Edgbaston, Nayudu hit a strike so massive that it completely cleared the county boundary, sending the ball over the River Rhea and into neighboring Worcestershire. By weaponizing the colonizers' own game right in their backyard, Nayudu forced the British public to respect Indian physical dominance. Nayudu's offensive power was matched by a stoic toughness. In the highly charged atmosphere of colonial sport, showing pain meant capitulating to the English stereotype of Indian weakness. During the 1952 Ranji Trophy final, an aging Nayudu faced a viciously fast bouncer. The ball struck him directly in the face. He lost 2 front teeth. Instead of seeking medical help, he calmly picked them up, slipped them into his pocket, and waved the medics away. He immediately retook his stance, bleeding from the mouth, and battered the opposing bowlers to score over 60 runs. This raw physical resilience served as a highly public proxy. Nayudu, proving he could not be broken, signaled to the crowds that the nation itself could not be broken. This timeline maps Nayudu's first-class cricket career. Spanning a world record 47 years, it persisted through massive shifts like World War II and Indian independence. Even more remarkable is the endpoint. In 1963, Nayudu padded up for a competitive charity match at age 68. In his later years, he transitioned into a strict, disciplined patriarch of Indian domestic cricket. He spent his time mentoring the first generation of athletes playing for an independent India. Long before modern broadcasting created global superstars, massive crowds abandoned their work simply because they heard C.K. Nayudu had arrived at the crease. He was the subcontinent's very first mass sports hero. C.K. Nayudu dismantled a psychological empire. He took a tool explicitly designed for colonial control and turned it into the beating heart of Indian identity.